Ladies and gentlemen, just like the phoenix rises from the ashes and Jean Grey rises from the dead, so has the State of the Nerd Union returned from its hiatus to once again destruct, decourse, debate, and Did I already say deconstruct? Because I'll say it again.
Yeah.
All of the greatness that is nerd culture. We're back, baby. It's go time. This time it's for real. Once again, I am joined by one of my favorite hosts. You could call him Judge Trev, Mr. I Am the Law, Trevor Law.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be back. I know you all missed me. You were just killing yourselves from just waiting for my words of wisdom.
And I say Judge Trev is one of my favorite hosts because, well, he's the only one reliable enough to show up tonight.
Oh, but seriously,
So
we love you. We just miss you.
But seriously, Kyle, don't ruin another franchise.
Yeah, seriously.
Y'all should
I
go
got real
back.
hope for this new X-Men franchise. Don't screw it up.
Yeah, go back and listen to our X-Men podcast to get that inside joke. But anyway, me, I'm the nerd of 1,000 opinions. I go by many names. I'm the champagne of host. My name is Zach, and we are here tonight to talk about our favorite sidekicks in all of nerd culture. We already started this conversation before the recording went on, and we started naming off a few, and it was so damn fun. We're just going to have this thing free willy. We're just going with it. So here we go. Trevor, let's start naming, who are the best sidekicks, and most importantly, why? Hit me with a good one.
So, I just found a great, amazing sidekick. Walter from The Big Lebowski, John Goodman's character.
Now, I love The Big Lebowski. I don't know if it falls into nerd culture, but I'm going to let it slide because I love that movie.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous, and I think it does qualify as nerd culture because there's nothing nerdier than a slacker who does nothing.
I mean,
and that is what The Big Lebowski is about.
It is a cult classic, I will give you that.
Yeah, and Walter is so absolutely freaking nuts, insane. He half of the problems the main character gets into are because of him.
Absolutely.
And he's just so entertaining to watch.
Like, every time the plot goes into a further bad receptacle, it's because of his insane ramblings that are completely wrong. He's completely incoherent. And you know what? I don't care if he's got a gun. I do care about the rules. I do. Okay? I don't care if he's got a gun in my face or not. But you, sir, have derailed the entire plot line of that movie.
He does. Every single time. He can be relied upon to make whatever situation is going on significantly worse.
But I think one of the greatest parts of it is that this is going to be a recurring theme when we start talking about sidekicks later down the line, is dichotomy and contrast. If you compare the dude, hey, I am the dude, that's what you call me. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. Or El Duderino if you're not into the old brevity thing. He's completely laid back, completely chill, completely lazy. Whereas you have the uptight, loose cannon about to snap on somebody because they want to roll on Saturday. He pulls a gun out. That's Walter, and that's what makes them such great sidekick to the dude. Contrast. They complement each other. And then you have, what's his name? Donnie.
Who gets a freaking heart attack.
I know. It's wonderful.
How intense things are.
Oh, that's so good. All right. You threw out there Walter. That was a great one. I'm going to have to throw out another good one right now. One of my favorite sidekicks of all time. From one of the greatest franchises of all time. The co-pilot to one of the greatest pilots of all times. The man of few words. Actually, they're just roars. Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Half this thing is just going to be Wookiee noises, okay? If you don't like Wookiee noises, you should probably turn this off because you know what? We're nerds. It's what we do.
Yeah. Me and Zach, we learned Sure Wookiee just so that we could have conversations.
I don't know about
teach
that.
us in college.
Well, someone had to translate those 5 minutes of scenes that are in Wookiee of the Star Wars holiday special for the rest of everyone watching. So we had to learn it so we could translate.
Yeah, had to learn it. Yeah, that was...
As there's an undying interest of people who want to watch the Star Wars holiday special, much less know what's going on in the Wookiee scenes. I just lost Trevor. Anyway, another reason why Chewbacca is so awesome is once again contrast. He's the strong, silent type to Han's sarcastic, scruffy-looking, half-witted nerf herder. You know, Han Solo's sarcastic all the time. He talks, he's confident, he's suave, he's smooth, he's Han freaking Solo. And who's behind him? Who's always got his back? The strong silence.
A gigantic furball who can break you in half.
The walking carpet, according to Princess Leia.
Hmm?
But, I mean, he could say so little, yet he's so many people's one of their favorite characters. You still love him no matter what.
And I think it's because, and to actually get a little bit deep with Chewbacca, but he is unfailingly loyal, like, to Han. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you see two people who, like, you can tell they've been through a lot together. Like, it's unspoken, but it's there.
I mean, like, if you go into the expanded universe, which is not necessarily canon anymore, but it's still, I think it's still considered canon, the idea that Han Solo rescued Chewbacca from a slave camp, and Chewbacca owes that life debt to Han, and that's why he sticks with him through thick and thin. I mean, if you watch those last few minutes of Empire Strikes Back, when he thinks that Han's about to die, Chewbacca is ready to rip some heads off of stormtroopers, and you can see that pain in his face without him having to say a word.
Yeah. Like that hurts. That hurts thinking about.
It's a wonderful film.
Yeah.
Actually, before we leave this franchise, I want to throw one other name out there. Actually, two, because one is so terrible and one is so awesome.
Oh, no, don't do it, don't do it.
One of the worst sidekicks, C-3PO.
Yeah.
And one of the best sidekicks, R2-D2.
Absolutely.
C-3PO, for his cock-blocking ability in Empire Strikes Back, way to go.
Wait, that's why we're saying he's the worst?
Well, I mean, he's just annoying in general, but then he cock-blocked Han Solo.
I mean, I just, like, that's the straw that breaks the camel's back for you?
I mean, he's like annoying, but he cock-blocked Han Solo. This is Han freaking Solo, man.
It's not the fact that C-3PO is almost always wrong.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that he was correct that the chances of surviving flying into an asteroid field is 3,720 to 1. I'm sure he's right about that.
Nope. NASA disproved that. Asteroid fields are actually much larger, and it would be incredibly easy to navigate an asteroid field.
Well, you know what? Suck it, C-3PO. You couldn't even get that right. Once again, you suck.
Yeah, he's always wrong.
And you're annoying as crap. Anyway, R2-D2.
Yes.
R2-D2 is the savior of the Star Wars universe. Yep. Every movie, he saves the day.
He is consistently the one who, when it comes down to R2-D2 doing something, it always works flawlessly. Well, except for in Return of the Jedi.
Okay, almost flawlessly. Episode 4, he shuts down the trash compactor to save Han, Luke, and Leia, and Chewbacca.
Yep.
Episode 5, he restores
not done with Episode 4. He also keeps Luke Skywalker's X-Wing flying after taking a hit.
Okay, true that.
Saves the day twice.
Episode 5, he restores the hyperdrive ability to the Millennium Falcon.
Absolutely.
Episode 6.
That's the only one he didn't save the day in.
No, he does. No, because he carries the lightsaber into Jabba the Hutt's palace to jettison it into the air for Luke Skywalker to catch so he could kill the rest of the guys.
That's true, he does. But I think that's what makes Return of the Jedi so great, is that that's the only time you actually see R2-D2 fail. Is he tries to hack open the big blast doors for the secret base that has the shield on it.
And he gets blasted.
That's the only time you see R2-D2 fail.
I wouldn't even say that's a failure. I'd say, you know what? Crap happened.
Yep.
Even in the prequel trilogy, Episode 1, he saves the ship whenever they are getting blasted out of the Trade Federation route. Episode 2...
I don't think he saved the day in Episode 2.
I swear he did. I just watched this the other day.
I don't think he does. But then again, I blocked that movie out.
I'm thinking. Actually, I'm drawing a blank. I don't think he does save the day in Episode 2.
I don't think he does. In Episode 3, though, he saves the day.
He does help them escape the ship of General Grievous.
The Malevolence.
Oh, is that what it's called? I never got the name.
Yep.
So 4 out of 6 movies, 2 out of 3 times, R2D2 is there to save the day.
5 out of 6 movies. Episode 2 is the only one he fails to save the day.
I'm gonna do some thinking on that one. I'm pretty sure he does.
Yeah.
But R2D2, one of the best. C3PO, one of the worst.
Yep. Now let's move on to something a different kind of nerdy, because I just found this one and I got to agree with it. Donkey from Shrek. Eddie Murphy. Nothing back. I like it.
For everyone at home, I'm just shaking my head. Okay.
Oh, I like Donkey.
What does Donkey do? Okay, it's Eddie Murphy after the 80s.
He's the comedic relief. And he seduces the dragon.
He does do that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a couple times where he's quote where he's like, in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Yeah, see, that's fun.
I don't know.
And he helps soften up Shrek's hard ogre heart.
They have layers.
They have layers, like cakes.
Whatever. Donkey,
but
sure.
That's also a transition into animated sidekicks, of which a rival of DreamWorks, Disney, has a near monopoly of perfection.
Because, let's be honest here, the quality of the Disney film is usually proportionate to the quality of the Disney sidekick. Or
Very
sidekicks.
True.
Just as a reference, look at one of the animated films that has the most sidekicks. Aladdin. Genie. That's all I gotta say right there. Robin Williams as Genie is absolutely amazing. Yeah. Just wonderful performance, hilarious, probably the star of the film. But not just that, he's got Abu, and they got Raja. Even the villain has Iago.
Yeah, who's very entertaining.
They are fantastic characters, even the ones that are silent. Raja and Abu, which Abu squeaks, but doesn't really have actual conversation.
He's like Chewbacca.
Once again, fantastic. You can see that emotion without words. Other films, Timon and Pumbaa in The Lion King. Rafiki, one of the funniest characters in the entire film.
Yeah.
The monkey.
Yeah. It took me a second to remember who Rafiki was.
Yeah. In the movie, it's one of my new favorite Disney movies, Bolt. Rhino is the most hilarious part of the entire movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen Bolt.
Bolt is amazing. You need to watch it. Because there's no truck that I know that can hold in Bolt and Rhino.
So, sidekicks. Now, I have a feeling there's one group of sidekicks. They have the same name, but they're different people. Who's your favorite of those?
Well, I'm not done on Disney yet, bro.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
We still got, there's Baloo from Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast, the entire cast of characters.
Yeah. The dad, all the little,
Lumiere, the clock, Mrs. Potts, Chip.
I love Mrs. Potts.
Mrs. Potts sings Beauty and the Beast, the song itself.
Yeah.
It's one of the most heart-touching songs in the entire thing. Lumiere singing Be Our Guest.
Yeah.
Let's think about one of the most prevalent and important sidekick characters of all time inside Disney and outside. He's the man who reminds someone that when you wish upon a star, dreams come true. Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
The conscience himself.
Literally, he's your conscience.
He's the heart of the Pinocchio who may or may not have strings on him.
He's the moral compass of that whole freaking film.
Typically, whenever Disney is doing well and doing a good movie, they always have good sidekicks. Snow White has 7 of them.
Yep. There's another sidekick from a Disney movie that's typically overlooked, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The Knight in Shining Armor. They literally make the Knight in Shining Armor the sidekick of the movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Phoebus is just this great heroic character who can be a bit dim at times, but he contrasts so well with one, the villain, and the other, Quasimodo. And you see, one, because Phoebus technically works for Frollo, the villain, who is, if we ever do a villains list, he will be on my top 5 best villains. But we're not going there. And so Phoebus sort of shows is like the first male character other than the Archbishop who's really kind to Quasimodo, and it's just a great contrast, and it's kind of gutsy to make someone who would normally be the main character of a movie to be the sidekick, and I like that. I really appreciated it.
I completely agree. I mean, just throwing out other Disney movies. We're going to get off this beat here in a little bit, but other Disney movies, Tarzan. You got all the apes. And you got the elephant. They're great characters. Pocahontas. You got the raccoon, and you've got the hummingbird. Yeah. Both hilarious. Hilarious little slapstick run around. Actually, they're my favorite part of the whole movie. I'm not a big Pocahontas fan. Little Mermaid, Flounder, Sebastian, and I can't think of his name, but the seagull.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the seagull.
Every time Disney does well, it's because they have a great cast of characters. Most importantly, great sidekicks to the leads.
Yes. And they're able to contrast really well.
Disney, keep it up. You make me happy. Oh, how about Fix-It Felix to Mr. Wreck-It Ralph?
I never saw Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph was good. Oh my God, Tangled. I forgot about Tangled.
Oh, Pastel. I love the horse in Tangled.
No, I'm talking about the chameleon, Pastel.
Really?
Oh, yeah, dude. Whenever he looks at her, and he's giving her the evil eyes, and he just pounds his fist like, beat him up. I lost it. That little guy.
The horse always amuses me immensely in that movie. Like, he's the one that steals the show for me.
Frozen.
Haven't seen
the snowman in Frozen.
Haven't seen it.
Olaf. He's hilarious. He's got an entire song about how excited he would be if he was a snowman in summer, without the realization that he would melt. And it's just a giant joke, and it's awesome.
Yeah, he did not think that one through, apparently.
Well, he makes it through. He's okay. It's Disney. Everyone's happy.
Except
for in the Black Cauldron, which in case it's the little dog. For some reason tonight I am blanking on names, but the dog in the Black Cauldron kills himself to save everyone else.
Oh, that's grim.
Yeah. Way to go, get dark, Disney.
Hey, Disney is not afraid to get dark.
I know, and I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Way to go, Disney. We're going to get off the Disney beat and return to the true realm of sidekicks, back to the true nerd world.
And there's two sidekicks in particular. Well, okay, technically an entire...
Let's open up one genre and then go into the next.
Yeah.
Because there's one genre that is just well known for sidekicks.
Oh, yeah.
One of the greatest genres of all time. My favorite genre. Comic books. Superheroes. Oh.
Now, and any conversation about comic book sidekicks has to include the Robins. All 50 gajillion of them.
Well, there are 5 in the main continuity, and there are several others from Future and Elseworlds and whatnot. I mean, it started in 1940 would be the introduction of Robin in Detective Comics number 38.
And that would be Dick Grayson, right?
Dick Grayson was introduced. Now, there are different theories as to why Dick Grayson was introduced in the comics. And this time, during the 1939 and 1940, whenever Batman was around, he was super dark. I mean, he was actually killing people off. He was killing off mobsters with guns. This is before that whole no-killing rule took effect. And he was super dark. Now, there are several different philosophical ideas as to why Batman would keep a young child around him to fight crime. One of those is that he's around such tragedy at all times that he wants to surround himself with some young, bright reminder of what it was to be a child. More importantly, a young, bright reminder of what life could be, so that way he doesn't go insane.
Another theory easily could be that he saw a lot of himself in Dick Grayson, somebody who had experienced a horrific tragedy early on and perhaps wanted to show him how not to be, to give him, to show him like, this, what I am, you don't want to be that guy. You want to be somebody.
So he tries to make him better.
Yeah.
Through doing similar things, similar training, similar aspects, but giving him a more positive outlook on life.
Yes.
Because Dick Grayson is way happier than Bruce Wayne ever was.
Yes, he was. And I think, honestly, Bruce Wayne is very pleased with that aspect of his mentorship of Dick Grayson.
Now, here's another reason as to why Batman would keep a sidekick around him, a young child. And that's the training aspect of a long-term crime-fighting plan. Mm-hmm. As prevalent for everyone who's seen the movies, The Dark Knight Rises. Now, it's the idea of a replacement. In DC Comics, DC is very prone to causing a generational aspect of heroes. Somebody will take on a mantle for a period of time, and they will pass it down. Barry Allen, up till Crisis on Infinite Earths, was the Flash, and then he passed it down to Wally West, who passed it down to Bart Allen. There have been several different Green Lanterns. In Batman, Bruce Wayne was Batman consistently, with small periods of time where he was injured, like after Nightfall, where someone else took over, up until after what was written by Grant Morrison, Batman R.I.P., which was amazing. In that, Dick Grayson took over the role of Batman. So he finally fulfilled that wish. Now, there's other aspects of like why somebody would keep children around as for fighting crime. Some other people think that, he's running around bright red and yellow so that everyone else would concentrate on him so that way Batman can sneak up behind the villains in the background, knock them out. Me, I'm more prone to those first two theories because Batman's a great planner and he's borderline insane.
Yes.
Now, Dick Grayson was a great Robin, and he became a great hero, Nightwing, and he became a great Batman. Mm-hmm. The second one, not so much.
Okay, we're talking about great sidekicks, so let's stick to let's say the two Robins you like the most.
Okay, fine. Jason Todd sucks. I'm just saying it. He's a better anti-hero than he was a Robin. Suck it, Jason Todd. There's a reason why everybody voted for you to die, and I'm glad you died, and you're better off dead. Well, actually, you're better off when you came back from the dead as an anti-hero and you tried to kill Batman, but that story was awesome. Point is, you suck. Third Robin was great, too. I love Dick Grayson. Third Robin was Tim Drake. I love Tim Drake. Tim Drake was a great detective. He's the one who actually figured out that Batman was Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson was Robin. And he convinced Batman to let himself become Robin. And he was great. I love the character. But he's not as great as the fifth Robin. Batman's son, Damian.
Damian Wayne.
Now, this is the most recent Robin, and he's, in my opinion, the best Robin.
Oh, my God. Zach.
In his opening storyline... Okay, here's the thing. Most people don't even know that that Damian Wayne exists. Because he's so new. He's only been around for, like, the last 8 years or so. So he's not in the mythos nearly as much. A lot of people who don't read comics don't know about him. They don't know that it was Ra's al Ghul, the villain of Batman Begins, is the grandfather of Damian, the villain.
Yeah. Who trained him?
Talia al Ghul from Dark Knight Rises actually seduced Batman, and they got freaky. And well, one night stands happen, and sometimes little trophies run around afterwards because of it. So,
and if you're if you're an aspiring superhero out there, and you do decide to bone one of your villains, contraception is important.
Most importantly, stay away from crazy women. Especially if they're serial killers and assassins, because Talia raised her son Damian to take over the world. Yeah. And when he was 12 years old, she introduced him to Batman, and she said, okay, I've done everything I can, now it's your time to train him. So Batman's mission afterwards was to make Damian into a hero, a decent person, because he was an insane psychopath, and he actually chopped off someone's head during that first 4 issues he was around.
Yeah.
He was a psychopath, and he thought he was just going to kill everybody and just get away with it, and that's Damian Wayne. And you know what? He started off as a total dick and turned into one of the best characters ever. Like, over the next 5 years, he became a much more sympathetic character, a much more well-rounded character. He ended up becoming a vegan because he ended up gaining several animals. There was actually a cow that he had that had the bat symbol across his face just already imprinted because that's just how its mark was there. So he named it Bat Cow, just as a joke. But afterwards, he said he never wanted to eat beef again. I mean, it's just this weird character who's got such extremes. But the best thing about Damian was when he became Robin, Dick Grayson was Batman, Damian was Robin. It was the exact contrast and dichotomy to the original aspect. You had Bruce Wayne, the dark, brooding Batman, and Dick Grayson, the young, happy, smiling Robin. Then 70 years later, you have Dick Grayson, the happy, smiling Batman, and Damian Wayne, the brooding, badass, head-chopping off Robin, who beat Joker in the face with a crowbar. How do you not like...
Which, if any of you are familiar with crowbars and the Joker and Robin, you'll know that there's a particular level of symbolism with that.
Yeah, just ask Jason Todd.
Poor Jason Todd.
Which you suck, by the way. Just saying.
He was beaten to death by the Joker with a crowbar.
It was awesome.
Awful.
Anyway, so I'm saying, Damian Wayne, best Robin. Love him. I'm glad he's back. Thank you, Grant Morrison. You left a very long, proud, hopefully standing tradition with Batman and a new badass Robin.
There's an animated movie coming out called Son of Batman.
It's already out, and it's actually loosely based off the first storyline of Grant Morrison's run, which it is Damian Wayne and Bruce Wayne. And they have a sequel coming out called Batman vs. Robin.
Yeah.
Which is a spin on it. It's actually a combination of a Grant Morrison storyline and Scott Snyder's Court of Owls.
Yes, which actually that's pretty good.
Court of Owls is amazing.
Yeah, but I was pleasantly surprised. So back to let's stick with comic book sidekicks.
That's what I was going to say. Let's comic book sidekicks. What are the other ones we got there that aren't as good as Robin?
Okay, yeah, because I mean I'm not even going to try to say, oh no, so and so is good. Aqualad's is good. Sidekick as Robin. No, but. In terms of comic book superhero sidekicks, most of the time they are usually just a really lame extension of them. But there's one sort of
looking at you, Batgirl.
Yeah. Oh, poor Bat. Actually, when she becomes Oracle, she becomes awesome.
Yes, she's actually more interesting once she becomes paralyzed from the Joker, and she's a symbol for the productivity of the disabled and their usefulness in society. Yeah, thank you, DC, for taking a step up on that one.
Yeah, Oracle is actually one of my favorite characters.
She's great afterwards, but as Batgirl, she kind of sucks.
Yeah, but that's a sidekick. Boom. Another sidekick that I think a lot of times not written well, but the story behind it is so interesting to me, and that's Superboy.
Connor Kent?
Basically, the one I'm speaking of is the one that was based off of Young Justice.
Are we talking about the Con-El, as this Kryptonian name, Connor Kent, the half-clone of Superman, half-clone of Lex Luthor, that was introduced in 1991 during the reign of the Supermen?
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, continue.
No, it's an interesting concept because Superboy suddenly has almost all the powers of Superman, and in some incarnations he has a lot more, and some incarnations he has a lot less. I don't know why they keep changing that. And so suddenly he's literally got the DNA of Superman's worst villain in him. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, that was always been an interesting sort of spin on how to do a sidekick.
See, me, when it comes to the Superman sidekicks, like, honestly, I think Superman works best whenever he's the lone Kryptonian.
No, yeah, he definitely is. And Supergirl.
Supergirl's okay, like, she's alright. But she's not great. Yeah. Talking about good and great comic book sidekicks, there's another one who sucked completely up until he was revamped. Now, also in 1939 was the introduction of another awesome red, white, and blue superhero named Captain America and his awesomely bad sidekick, Bucky Barnes.
Barnes. That is a terrible name.
Yes. Who was essentially just Robin, but not even as cool.
Yep. A lame Robin.
A lame Robin.
Yep.
But, okay, so here's the story. In 1943-ish, I think it's 43, 44, towards the end of World War II, they decided to kill off Captain America and Bucky Barnes. They were on a rocket ship, they were heading towards the sky, and they tried to, what was it? They tried to dismantle it, but it ends up blowing up, and they both die. Which, if you know what happens in comic books, when you die, it means you come back.
Yeah.
So, there was a phrase in comic books that no one stays dead in comic books except for Bucky Barnes, Jason Todd, and Uncle Ben. And in 2004, they brought all three of them back.
They brought back Uncle Ben?
It was in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man series. It was actually a Uncle Ben from an alternate timeline in which Aunt May died instead, and he ended up transversing into this universe, but then he went back, so it was like 2 issues. He didn't really come back.
That doesn't count.
But it was funny that all three of them came back in one way or another in the same year. Now, the return of Jason Todd, I talked about earlier, he was better off afterwards because he was a terrible Robin and a better anti-hero. Well, that's going to sound real familiar here in a second because Bucky Barnes was a terrible sidekick and an awesome anti-hero.
Yeah.
He came back as, if you've seen the new movie, the Winter Soldier.
Sure.
Which, it's great. Not only was he a great character after they brought him back and what he's done since then, they actually revamped what he was doing in the 30s. And that secretly, he wasn't just a super smiling kid. He was actually an assassin that was super dark and evil, that was going around behind the scenes offing people without Captain America knowing it. So they completely revamped the character from what he was in the 30s in recent times.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, yeah. If you've read Ed Brubaker's Captain America run, it starts, I think it's volume 5. It started in like 2003-ish. Yeah, it was 2004. They brought back Bucky Barnes. They ended up killing him off killing off Captain America after Civil War. And then guess what? Bucky Barnes became Captain America, and he was actually super interesting. And a lot of people didn't even want him to relinquish that title and for it to go back to Steve Rogers. And ever since then, he's actually been a far more interesting character now than he ever was in the 30s.
And then he dies again in Reign of Fear, and we bring him back.
And I don't think he died. I think he just got injured.
Oh, okay. They made it seem like he died.
No, he's still around. The whole original Sin thing last year. Apparently, he took one of the spots of Nick Fury. I'm not going to get into that because it was kind of stupid. But Bucky Barnes, far more awesome.
Yeah.
So, any other comic book characters and comic book sidekicks we want to talk about?
Not that I can think of.
I mean, if you want to consider the X-Men sidekicks Professor X.
No. Because I mean, I wanted to talk about the X-Men, but I was trying to figure out who's the sidekicks in that. And
that would be Kitty Pryde, Jubilee, and Armor to Wolverine.
Okay, if we're going to use that argument, virtually the entire X-Men are all sidekicks to Wolverine.
No, he actually kept them around and tutored them and trained them and kept them under his wing.
I knew he did Armor. I didn't know he did. And Jubilee, I didn't know he did that for Kitty Pryde.
Kitty Pryde was his first one in the 1970s. It would be like 1976 would be the introduction of Kitty Pryde during the Phoenix Saga. And I think it was 75, 76.
That makes Kitty Pryde way cooler all of a sudden.
She was the first one to go underneath the wing of Wolverine. And then later on, Jubilee. God, that was during the 90s, and everything was terrible for comic books. And then later on for Armor.
But Armor's awesome.
Armor was awesome.
Great sidekick. And her power is terrifying.
If you've not read Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men...
Oh, God, it's so good!
1 through 24, and Giant Size Astonishing X-Men, you have to read them. Read them all in a row. It'll take like 5 hours. It's the greatest X-Men story ever.
And it gets crazy. It gets so freaking nuts.
And it's by Joss Whedon, who directed Avengers.
Yes. And it makes me want Joss Whedon to do an X-Men series so badly.
Oh, I know.
Oh, God, it would be amazing. Dang it. Zach, you made me sad.
I know. You're welcome.
So, switching gears from comic book to fantasy, there is another sidekick who I think is excellent, and that is Samwise Gamgee.
I agree.
Yeah, because let's be honest here. If we're thinking of Frodo Baggins, at least from the movies, now, in the books it's not as bad, but in the movies, I hate Frodo. I kind of want to die. I want him to fail so that I can watch Sam take care of business and get to Mordor.
No, I think it's just a great... Honestly, I love those movies so much, and I don't hate Frodo as much as everyone else does.
Oh, I can't stand him.
I know.
Can't freaking stand him.
I actually enjoy the character. I like seeing weakness, just for the fact that it makes Samwise so much better.
It's not that he's freaking weak, though. It's that he becomes, virtually codependent on Sam.
Yeah.
And it becomes like a codependent, abusive relationship on Frodo's part. And Sam's like, "You're my friend. I made promises, and the fate of the world's hinging on this. Can you please not be crazy?"
But through all the faults that Frodo has, it just makes Sam look better.
No, it does. Sam's awesome.
I love those movies. I'm not going to fault them. I think they're wonderful. But
Frodo, freaking can't stand.
I like Frodo, and you know what, Samwise, you're my guy. I don't care if everyone makes the gay jokes about them. You know what? I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care.
But there's two more hobbits that do deserve an honorable mention, and that is Merry and Pippin.
I thought you were going to say Bilbo and Bilbo.
Bilbo also, but Bilbo's not a sidekick. He's the main character as far as I'm concerned. He's the title character.
You know what? That movie could be called 9 hours of 100 pages of book.
Jesus. Oh, God. Okay, if we ever do a review of the last Hobbit movie, I will... Like, that will probably be the meanest I will ever be at a movie.
All right, we'll get to that later at some point.
Jesus.
But Merry and Pippin, they're awesome characters. I love them. Good times.
Yeah. And Bilbo is awesome, too. And, I mean, Lord of the Rings actually has a lot of really great sidekicks.
Gandalf would be a...
No, he would be main character. I would call him
fine.
Anybody who is actually in the Lord of the Rings, I actually consider main characters.
They're one of the 9?
Yeah, which I guess that's Sam, Merry, and Pippin, but they still feel like sidekicks.
Okay. Well, anyway. So, leaving that one behind.
No.
Unless you get anything else on the Lord of the Rings.
No one on Lord of the Rings.
I would like to submit something else that's a fan favorite of nerd culture. Mr. Indiana Jones, who has a plethora of sidekicks.
All awesome.
Yes, my favorite, Dr. Jones! Dr. Jones!
Short Round.
Short Round.
The vaguely racist sidekick of India.
You know what? A lot of people say he's annoying. No time for love, Dr. Jones. But you know what? It's for that moment at the end when he burns Indiana and Indiana looks at him, and you can just see that fondness in his eyes. Like whenever he fights all the bad guys off, and he finally looks at him, and they have the embrace, and it's a warmth of a friendship. There's no father-son aspect of it. He actually fully respects Short Round.
Yeah.
Even as a child. That Short Round would do that. That'd be that brave.
And I love that because at the same time, Indiana Jones is fighting the giant Indian thuggy guy,
which is the same guy he fought in the first movie in a different costume.
Are you serious?
It's the same guy as the Nazi that he fights outside the plane that gets chopped up by the propeller. It's actually the rematch. It's the same guy in a different costume.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. Oh, that makes that so much better. I need to watch that movie again.
Get back to the point, though.
While Indiana Jones is fighting him, Short Round is actually having his own, against a bigger kid.
I'm not even sure if that was a guy or a girl, because he talks like a woman. But you know what? It was the prince or the king of India.
I think they're a Raja?
Sure.
Maharaja.
Yeah. But anyway, also one of his great sidekicks, his father. The complete contrast to him. Like his neglectful, doesn't care about him father.
Yeah, that's really sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
And weird thing though, in real life, the actors are only 12 years apart in age.
Yeah. But I mean, on film, it doesn't look like that. They make Sean Connery look old.
And they make Indiana Jones look young.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
Also, we were talking about Sala earlier.
Sala. Who's in 2 movies. He's not in the second one.
No, he's not. He's in Raiders and he's in Last Crusade.
Yeah. And he was a really entertaining, great sort of bro to have at your back kind of guy.
I love Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah, they're really awesome.
Dr. Watson.
My God, there would be no Sherlock Holmes without the humanizing, very common sense attributes of Dr. Watson. You just wouldn't have that, and especially in the new ones. That's probably one of the best on-screen duos I've seen in a long time.
For a long time, I didn't understand the purpose of Dr. Watson because I had just seen other interpretations of him until I read the books. And that's just in the last couple of years that I read the books. And in the initial novels, through the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle canon, Arthur Conan Doyle, so through his canon, Dr. Watson is the one scribing the tale to you. He is your eyes into this world. He is the one that you personify as you watch Sherlock go around and do all these crazy things that are completely unrelatable, because he's that character. But I think I agree with you. I cannot think of his name. It's Matthew or Michael or...
We got IMDb. My God, why are we...
I don't know. Anyway, the character... or who plays him, the person who plays the character, Dr. Watson, in the new series Sherlock on BBC, is fantastic. I think he does a great job.
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman. I knew it started with an F. Thank you. Thank you, internets. But I think he does a great job, especially, once again, contrasting to the main hero and being a fantastic character in itself. Trevor... unless you've got any more, I'm all sidekicked out.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure there's a lot that we didn't cover. And actually, if anybody is listening to this and you were just outraged that we did not get to your favorite sidekick,
then they must suck.
No. Yeah. Oh, gosh, Zach. So confrontational. We love our fans. We want to give you a hug. So you want to close this out, Zachary?
All right. Like Trevor was saying, hey, if you've got some comments about who should have been in this thing, what's your favorite sidekick? If you want to mention some more about who's your favorite sidekick and why, leave it in the comments below on Facebook. I promise you I'll even read it. I might even respond.
Yeah, we can't promise we'll respond, but we will read it.
I said might. Anyway, thank you again. Welcome back to the wonderful world that is the State of the Nerd Union. This has been Trevor Law, the judge, the jury. He's not really an executioner, but hey.
That can be.
Well, okay. And I'm Zach, the man with 1,000 opinions. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.